Today on the Chat and Chew Show.
What I said.
Vanessa piping in.
And then you, as a woman, you have to be okay with that. Every man is not your husband. Right? You can't be so focused on that desire that you'll accept anything. And I had to learn, like, God had to teach me.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Roxanne, and today we're making a vegan pesto pasta.
I bring it back. So as you guys know, we're talking to three ladies who found their husbands from an online, I don't know what it's called, an app? Website. And two of them are married and one person is engaged. And I just think it is fascinating because the thought is there aren't really good men out there, but apparently there are some good men.
Yeah.
So if you are doing a search, this sounds so funny. You're doing a search? Because I come from a generation, you didn't go online. You're like, do you know somebody?
Right.
And then they introduce you to their uncle's cousin, nephew, friend who live around the corner. That's how you met people. Or you met someone at work or
They say that's still the number one way though.
How?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that you're introduced through a friend.
Really?
Yeah, they still say that's the number one way people are meeting.
Is that because the friend knows you and the person?
I don't
Or
know.
you trust them?
I don't know. I mean, no. I'm not saying that has happened for me.
No, I
But
know.
I'm saying, like everywhere you look, they'll say
They'll still
that's
say
still
that.
the number one
Okay.
way that people are
Alright.
hooking up.
So maybe going online and then asking your friend, you know somebody?
Yeah.
You meet first.
So I want to find out from you guys because it feels like to me that I know all of you guys are Christ followers, and so it feels, and we've been taught as Christians that you're supposed to wait to be chosen. And it feels like to me, and you guys can speak to this, that you decided I'm going to step out there and do the choosing. So how do you reconcile this idea, or maybe you didn't even believe that, or maybe you weren't taught that?
So for me, it wasn't a reconciling idea because I don't do the initial choosing in most cases, unless I'm looking like for friendship or something like that. But my thing is putting a profile online is not. It's choosing to put a profile online, but it's not choosing the individual.
Okay.
In a sense. So for example, when I said something to my husband, it's almost like somebody walked past you on the street, you speak. It's
Right.
just like common courtesy. You speak to them or you can say hi to them.
Okay.
At that point now it becomes his responsibility to do the pursuing. And in most cases, if, depending on what you're looking for, if you meet that guy and he pursues, my husband, I was actually seeing multiple people at the time I even engaged with him. And so he pursued so hard that it made what the rest of them were doing seem like, they weren't really all that interested. Because if they were, they'd be doing what he's doing kind of thing.
So what were you going to say? You was
I was going to say, because you can... I think when we hear that, we think that means that you're supposed to be completely passive in the whole situation.
Yeah.
Like you can't put yourself out there, you can't meet people, you can't do it. And I don't take it to mean that because, when I was talking to my husband on the phone, and I was talking to him, and I was like, I think this is the one Jesus. I didn't say that to him. That was just my own thought. And I'm like, okay, so then I'm watching him even more closely, and I'm looking and just looking at it with a different set of eyes. Like, okay, am I really hearing you, Lord, or am I tripping? Because at this point, this is our first time having a conversation over the phone. So it's not like, oh, I'm so enamored with how he looks or anything like that.
Right.
Like, I don't know a whole lot about him, but from what we're, discussing now, it's something that's kind of like, okay, I might be able to work with something that we got going on over here. So even with that though, he still had to choose me. He still had to. I look at it like this: he has to find the wife in you. Like you are the woman, and you could be talking to a whole bunch of guys, and that's fine. But the one who finds the wife in you is like he found his wife. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like
isn't that counterintuitive though in our culture? Because we're not in culture it says. Go out there and you do it, you the woman, women, girls run the world, all that. But in the church, it's like, no, you sit back and you wait for someone to choose you. But it feels like you guys are saying that setting up an online profile is not actually choosing, you know what I mean?
It's a difference between, initiating conversation or even making yourself available to be communicated with and pursuing a man.
I see.
I think a lot of times the assumption is that because you're using this avenue
to meet someone that you're now pursuing. Just because I have a profile up doesn't mean I'm chasing a man.
Right,
Who's gonna
right.
pursue me?
Right.
And I think in each of our situations, that was one of the defining things. Like he was pursuing. It wasn't just like, hey, what you doing? Oh, you beautiful. You know, that shallow conversation.
Okay.
You having to pull things out of him. Like, no, he wants to know about you. He's like, tell me more. I want to spend time with you. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
So just because you make yourself available through that platform doesn't mean that you're now choosing or being the one that's pursuing the man.
Okay.
You just made yourself available, and he has to do the pursuing still.
Yeah. I know this is countercultural because you're like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna be sitting back. If I see it, I'm gonna just go get it, right? That's why some women go after married men too. You know, because like if I want it, I'm just gonna go get it. And I like what you guys are saying, that being available and open. You know, again, a lot of times people are like, as long as I got King Jesus, and that's fake.
Right.
And you really be wanting somebody, but you trying to fake it out. To me, that when you live life that way, like I'm closed, then it's gonna be closed for you. But if you're open and trying to have it. So what I heard you guys say, it's okay to do a profile. If you're of the camp, still wait to be chosen, because he that finds a wife finds a good thing.
Right.
Then putting a profile is like saying hi. Is that what I'm saying?
Because I think it's a different medium, right? Because like back in the day when we would dress up and go to an event, and like you're being available, you're gonna dress up, you're gonna look nice, and you know, catch you a man. But you might be looking in person, right? You know, it's like with a cute dress or whatever. Instead, this is with a profile, so you haven't gotten dressed up and gone anywhere, but you put out like who you are and all that on a profile.
And I think it's even okay to initiate a conversation. I mean, think of how weird it would be in a setting if you went to some social event and you just stood there and waited for everybody to come talk to you. You
Right.
Like if you're in an arena where you know there's social interaction going on, talk. Right? Doesn't mean you're committing to lifelong relationship.
Just talk. So
You do that in the street, you do that at church, you do that at work.
You just stand there like, he gonna notice me, okay.
No, he's gonna notice the girl that's back there doing this.
Back there.
So tell us about this profile. So when you, because I've never done this before. So when you set up a profile, you put your picture up, and then what else? You put what? Stuff about yourself, or how does that work?
You put whatever you want people to know about you on there. I've found that, I put like the key things that were important to me on my profile. And I put things, because even though I was on there just to see what happens, like I wasn't going on there to be like, you know, at the time I wasn't thinking, oh, I want to be married so bad, so maybe I should do this, or I want a man so bad, I'm going to do this. I was like, you know what, it seems like a fun idea. I'm always open for new friends, you know what I'm saying? And if he found me while I'm out there making new friends, then hey, boo, hey. So I'm like, I'll go for it, right? So I put the stuff on my profile that, like, I was very just, like, transparent, like, you know, these are things I'm into. I love to read. I love to do this. I'm not into drinking and partying and stuff. Ain't my life. I love Jesus. Love Jesus a long time. I'm very active in church. Non-negotiable. Like, you know, like I put those things in there. So one, it helped me to weed out, because if you sent me a message and just how your message first came off, it's like, okay, well, you clearly didn't read what I wrote. Because if you read what I wrote, then you wouldn't come to me that way.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Okay.
You know, we're talking for like, you know, a couple days, and you already, my thing, which may be different, I did not go out. I say out of all the dudes, and I did meet several dudes online, I only actually physically, like at first face, met 2 of them.
Okay.
And I talked to them for a while, for like months before I met them.
Okay.
That ain't how it works for everybody. Some people are like, oh, let's meet up and go for coffee. And if that works for you, that's fine. But I personally did not want to be caught in an awkward situation where it's like, you're kind of weird. I feel uncomfortable, and now I gotta figure out how to get away out of here. Where it's like, if I would have talked to you for maybe a little bit longer, I would have known that you were weird, because your weird would have shown.
Okay.
So I don't like awkward social situations. Like as crazy as I am, I don't like to be rude to people, and I don't want to make people feel a certain way, because I don't like to be feel a certain way, right? So it's like in person. That's why I'm saying it's much harder to be like, I'm sorry, I don't think you're attractive. I don't want to get to know you. But if it's online, I can read what you say about yourself, right?
Okay.
So you can give me something more than what your face looks like.
Okay.
Right? And then from that, I can see, like, I don't think we'll be a good match. and we can avoid any type of awkwardness, and there's no hard feelings. You can read my profile, and if you ain't into it, it's all good, homeboy. Right. You go that way, I'm gonna go this way, and it's all good.
And I think for a lot of women, especially when you're coming from a place that you should not enter into like online dating if you're in a broken place, or if you're feeling desperation. And like, it's good. I feel like in church, especially, we can afford to be more transparent because like we almost hide when we're in that state of mind. It's almost like we hide it. Like if you're struggling with your single state, talk to somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think there's enough of that transparency because I went through that phase where I was like crying at night because I'm like, I don't want to be alone anymore. Right. But I didn't just want anything, and that's what God had to show me. Like right now, because you're focusing on this moment in your life, you're not looking at what is to come or what can come. Yeah. You're only focusing on this. You're making it so much bigger than it needs to be. It's supposed to be a time where you're like being developed, right? Then you're being prepared for your husband, because if you're jacked up, you're gonna destroy that man. That's what I mean? Yeah. And you need to make sure you're not in that headspace before you even try it. And then once you do, like, you gotta know what it is that you're looking for. And if you're not sure, pause. Yeah, that's good. Because you're gonna bring all kind of turmoil into your own life. And I think when I even meeting people in person, when I dated in the past, I wasn't like that whole "you complete me" foolishness. That is the biggest Hollywood lie that has ever been spoken. Like, if you need to be completed, you're gonna destroy that person's life. Wow. Because they don't have time to raise you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I will say, from this whole thing, what I did learn was like what the Bible says about writing a vision and making it plain. Like even in your prayer, like tell God exactly what you want and stop doubting that He won't do it. Let me do everything else. Like if He won't do that, then how you know you saved? You know what I mean? So when I like really got detailed, like okay, I don't like that. This right here, no Lord. That guy, like I like this. He made me feel this way, but that I don't want that. So this is what I want, and that's how I actually knew. Like because when I met my fiance online, I was not feeling that. I was over. This is my second go round, and I had been back online for like over a year. Had something kind of serious, and I, was making some of the same bad choices that I made in relationship product, making excuses for certain behavior. Okay. Thinking it was me. Like, no, it's not you. The Holy Spirit is saying stop. Yeah. Yeah. And I couldn't hear that because my end goal was marriage. Yeah. And when I finally got to the point like, all right, this isn't working, I just was like going online and deleting the messages just to make the icon go away. Okay. On my app, the little indicator. Yeah. And I happened to look at his message, and he actually typed a real message. It wasn't like a 1 or 2 sentence thing. Like he was introducing himself, and he made it evident, like with the bio that you type about yourself. I said, first off, God is my priority. Any man in my life, like it was very almost militant. Like any man in my life needs to have the same priorities. I'm not the one. So the guys are like, oh, I'm a Christian. I'm like, oh, I stopped going to church like 3 years ago.
Well, like, you're not for me.
Did you read what I said?
Vanessa piping in.
You're not for me. And then you, as a woman, you have to be okay with that. Every man is not your husband. Right. Yeah. Like you can't be so like. You can't be pursuing or like thirsting after, not that there's anything wrong with desiring to be married. Yeah. Right? You can't be so focused on that desire that you'll accept anything. And I had to learn, like God had to teach me. Yeah. Like why are you entertaining this? Wow. Why? Like if I'm like one thing I learned after like hindsight's 2020, if a man makes you have all these question marks and you doing all this, well, why is he doing that? What? No. Yeah. Is that how you want to spend your life? Yeah. Wondering, like, that's true. My husband didn't come home after work. Where is he? Like, why he didn't text me back? I texted him like 2 hours ago. All that stuff. Like, listen. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is huge.
See, I feel like for me, part of me is this desire to like help people and want to, make you better. And what I found is that you can't do that in relationships. And my pastor used to say all the time, you don't date projects. And so if you have to, like dating him, like you gotta build him and help him to be who you see him to be, then he's not the one for you kind of thing. And so for me, it was separating those parts of me that I feel like are God-given, and separating that out and not letting that bleed into relationship, because I don't need a project. I need a partner to help me. Right. So so it just that was one of the things. And one of the other things is, too, on those profiles, they usually ask you a series of questions that you have to fill out anyway.
Okay.
And then you get to write your bio. And I almost literally, it took me probably a year to finesse my bio to where I feel like, oh, this is good. Like, like this is where I want it to be. You know? But in that, like for me, because I'm tall, I'm 5'9", so it was just like, you know, you read other people's profiles too, and it was like, ooh, 5'7". No, if you gotta stand on a step to like, I'm sorry. Yeah, you missed the cut.
Now, a delicious word. Let's chew.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Roxanne, and today we're making a vegan pesto pasta. So we're actually going to get started by making our pesto sauce, and we're going to do this. It's really simple by throwing everything into a blender. And so I'm using a handful of kale, a handful of basil, and if you're using the basil packages, this is fresh basil leaves, that is, then you can go ahead and use the whole package and just kind of match that same amount in kale and do like a half and half ratio. And then what we're going to do is add some garlic to this as well. And so with the garlic, I used 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. You can also use about 2 to 3 garlic cloves cut fresh. And then I'm adding to this as well the juice from half of a lemon and then a handful of walnuts. And so I'm throwing all of that into my blender, and I'm go ahead and blend that up until all those ingredients are cut pretty finely. And then once I have that cut up, or blended, if you will, then I'm actually going to blend it and then start adding slowly the olive oil to this mixture. And so I'm going to add olive oil until I get kind of a consistency of a spread. And then that's when I have my pesto sauce, basically. And so also with the pesto sauce, you can add pepper, you can add salt. I'm doing a low sodium diet right now, so I didn't really add any salt to this, but you can add salt and pepper to this as well when you blend. And then also if you're not vegan, you could add Parmesan cheese, which would normally be in your pesto sauce. So once you're done with all of that and you have your pesto sauce, you can set that off to the side. And what I've done before I made my pesto sauce is I had started cooking my noodles. And I'm cooking some quinoa shell noodles, and it's actually the ingredients are quinoa and corn. They're these quinoa shell noodles, and I'm just boiling them like the regular noodles and just having to stir consistently with them because they stick to the bottom of the pan, different from regular noodles. And then once those are done cooking, they take about 6 to 8 minutes. Once they're done, I drain my noodles, and then I have my noodles ready for my pesto sauce. And I'm going to mix in my noodles and pesto sauce. Again, once you mix in the noodles and pesto sauce, you can get an idea of how it tastes. You can see if you need a little more salt, more pepper. Another opportunity, this is when I added my salt and pepper versus into the sauce. And then what I'm going to add now are some cherry tomatoes. And so the cherry tomatoes, I'm just going to cut them in half and just mix them in as if it were like a noodle salad or something, like a macaroni salad or something like that. So I'm just going to mix it in. And so you have the fresh tomato, you have that kick of the lemon juice, you have the flavor of the basil and the garlic and all that together, and everything's fresh. And so, and it all just marries well when you put it on that warm, like piping hot pasta. And so this turns out to be actually a really good dish, and you can play around with it however you like to change up some of that flavoring if you like a little more of one thing over the other. And then another time where you can add cheese if you're not vegan is when you plate this dish, you can also sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on top or grate some fresh cheese on top of that and really enjoy it. So give it a try and let me know what you think. All right, until next time.
It's funny she says that because
now you don't have
I had a situation where I met this guy that was, oh my gosh, I mean, he was in church, Bible studies, Sunday service, everything, worship, everything I wanted. And I went and met up with him finally. And I had on like some pretty average heels. They weren't super tall. And I'm like kind of looking at the top of his head. I see one of the things I do is I read the profile and it says your height. So I'm like, okay, I know whether or not we're working with something because I'm short. So if you're around my height,
And I can see the top of your head.
So I was like, she told me, you're not gonna be that shallow, are you?
Don't be that shallow. Don't.
Yeah. So then I went flats on the next day.
It wasn't just the height. For me, it wasn't just the height, but that was like a big one. But I was trying to get her to come out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
I really.
That'll make you uncomfortable. See,
She tried though, she tried, so I appreciate that.
I went on the second date. I wore flats that time, and we were kind of.
I was like, maybe y'all was sloped. Like, was he standing there?
Right.
Was he hunching over?
Maybe his posture.
Yeah. Oh my
That height. Read the profile.
Yeah.
But see, I'm 5'9". Like you're
It ain't the same level of problems that we got.
right. Thank you,
So this was really good.
Yeah. So what I heard was be aware with yourself. Be aware, right? Of like where you are, if you're broken, if you are.
That was huge.
Yeah, like because how healthy you are will determine how successful you are in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard to know what you want, and not only know what you want, but vocalize it. So tell God and tell the people you're looking at.
That's right.
This is what I want. This is what I need, and I'm also hearing like don't compromise on that as well, which I think is a big one. Because I think sometimes we put what we want out there, and then we say, okay, but give or take this, and he got this, and we try to negotiate.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing that you guys didn't negotiate on what your requirements were.
Yeah.
And be patient.
Yeah. Patient.
You might have to go through.
Yeah. 50.
And that will give you and take that risk.
Somebody's out there like, I'm at number 48 now. There's 2 more to go. So maybe at another show, we need to come back and talk about if your standards are way up here, maybe you do need to bring them down. You know what I mean? Like you think you're looking for Jesus on earth and nobody is perfect. You know what I mean? Like sometimes women have these unrealistic expectations of a person and they can't fulfill those. And so you're like, oh, you ain't it. And that he could be it. I'm not talking about big major things that are important to you, but I'm talking about, just flaws. Like he's never going to pick up his underwear.
I had a friend, he had 50 things on his list.
Yeah, 50
He had 50 things on his list that he was looking for in a woman. And then I just said to him, like, okay, out of those 50s, which one could you absolutely not live with? Out of the 50. Because I think one of them on there was like she had to enjoy playing video games. I was like, first off, one of the things you need to do is grow up.
Off the video game.
I'm just saying. But yeah, that was like one of his 50s. So to me, it was like, that's not a deal breaker. Like if she doesn't play a video game, that's not a deal breaker. Yeah. So you gotta narrow that list down to what your deal breakers are. Like what is absolutely to your core important that you have in a man.
Yeah. Not be super unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be a millionaire. Are you a millionaire? No. Wait.
So why should he date you?
Why would he date you? Because you want him to pay your bills. You're not gonna do it.
But I think like one of the basic things is values. What are important, right? Because it's like we're talking about like who you worship, like how how you live your life. That kind of thing matters. Because like you said, you're not gonna look the same 20 years from now anyway. So you might as well get stuff that really matters.
Cool. And Roxanne, you can tell the folks how they can find us.
So you can follow us at Chat and Chew Show.
I want to say .com, but they don't even have .com.
No, that's not.
Next time on the Chat and Chew Show.
But I think on top of that is this idea that I'm doing this for God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so you put some energy into it that's more than just I'm going to my 9 to 5. It's like, oh my, I'm on mission. I'm doing this for God. It's hard, but I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna give everything. I'm gonna spend my own money to do this, right? Because it's like this is a big thing.
This show was brought to you by the Chat and Chew Company. Music by Elwood Jones. Lyrics by Roxanne. Bring a Chat and Chew live event to your organization. Contact us at chatandchewshow@gmail.com.